Okay, we'll call this meeting to order, and we'll do a roll call.
Mayor Kindle,
Present.
Councilwoman Costantino,
Present.
Councilman Jenny,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki,
Here.
Councilwoman Williams,
Present.
Councilman Toussaint,
Here.
Acting City Manager Szymanski,
Here.
City Attorney DeWally.
Here.
Okay.
All right. Now, we're here for special business, and it will be to interview candidates for a city council vacancy.
Okay, Mayor and Council, as you are aware, a special city council meeting has been called for Monday, January 9th, 2023 at 6 p.m. for the purpose of interviewing candidates to fill the vacancy on the city council. The following residents have applied to fill the vacancy: Geraldine LaPratte, Ernestine Lyons, and Lauren Mercer. Copy of their submissions are attached. We plan to have a number draw to determine who will present first, allowing each person approximately 5 minutes to briefly introduce themselves. After each candidate presentation, the City Council would be free to ask their questions. While one candidate is being interviewed, the others will be asked to sit in the conference room. Following the interviews, the selection of the candidates to fill the vacancy is scheduled. It is suggested that the same format that has been used in the past be used to fill this vacancy. Each council member will be provided with a supply of paper ballots listing all of the candidate names in alphabetical order. Council members will be asked to vote for one candidate by checking the box on the ballot and then signing the ballot. The city clerk and I will collect and tabulate the ballots and announce the results. In the past, we have read out loud each council member's ballot to indicate who cast their ballot for which candidate. If no candidate receives 4 votes, then the process is repeated until one does. The same ballot is used, and council members are free to choose any of the candidates each round. Again, at least this is the process we have followed in the past. When one candidate does receive 4 votes, a resolution should be offered. Now, interviewing the candidates, we will have a number draw to see who goes first. The other candidates will be asked to be sequestered in the conference room. So that there is no violation of the Open Meetings Act, we must state that each candidate has the right to remain at the meeting, but it is requested they leave, and that either remaining or leaving will have no impact on the voting decision, but rather the request to leave is merely designed to permit each candidate the opportunity to present their unique positions. This is not a debate, it is merely a presentation. Mayor?
Right?
Okay. If the 3 candidates want to come up?
I'll come over here.
We'll go alphabetical again. That's okay. 1. This one. I folded it a lot. Okay, that's the order that you'll present. 2. 1. Okay. Want to have her come up to the podium and...
Okay. Go.
Yep. Okay. Oh, you want to? Oh, well, thank you. You guys want to step in here then?
All 3 of us, or just?
Nope, you're on the hot seat.
Nice try.
Okay, perfect.
All right. It's all yours.
Thank you. Good evening.
My name is Lauren Mercer. I reside on Woodside Street. First, I'd like to thank the mayor and council for having me today. A little background of myself. I was born and raised on the east side of Detroit. I took up residence in Grosse Pointe Park for 3 years. I moved to the city of Harper Woods in 2018. My education is a bachelor's degree from Eastern Michigan University. Some reasons why I'd like to join the city council is continue my civil engagement, which is an honor, and I'd like to continue my commitment to our city. Represent all citizens of Harper Woods, no matter age, race, creed, identity, and hopefully be a voice for our LGBTQ community as well. A new year, a new face. I hope to bring my teamwork skills and patience to the table to get things done. Attend and volunteer our local events and maybe create new ones. I'd also like to dedicate time to reoccurring problems in our community, examples, issues regarding ordinance violations and crime. But to show some of the commitments I've already have done in this city, I have currently worked in the public service sector for 6 years now. I joined the Harper Woods Planning Commission in 2021. I have adopted, donated, and volunteered at the Grosse Pointe Animal Adoption Society. I was an election inspector for Harper Woods in 2022. I've attended numerous Harper Woods community events. During my tenure on the Planning Commission, I attended the Training for Citizen Planner program and was certified. Successfully completed the Michigan Economic Development Corporation's Redevelopment Ready Communities program, also known as the RRC. Additionally, in-house RRC training with our Deputy Economic Director. This training is important because it has assisted our city in becoming RRC certified, which will help fund the Kelly Road project and for the renewal of the city's master plan. Some accomplishments I've gone through with on the Planning Commission would be the approval of the Eastland Mall North Point project, the approval of the Tim Hortons project on Veneer Road, the approval of the BP gas station rebuilding on Kelly Road and Veneer Road, discussions regarding the rebuilding or the redevelopment of the Peppard School, and working on the master plan and appointed to the Master Planning Advisory Committee. What can I offer you? 30 years of knowledge of the area, several years of civil service, excellent teamwork skills, and open-mindedness. Thank you.
Okay, let's see, start with you, Councilwoman Constantino.
Okay, I guess we'll just go down with the question.
Just pick you a question, or if you have a question in mind that you need to clarification or you want her to answer, you go ahead.
Okay, I'll just do the first question. The city of Harper Woods is a council manager form of government. Please describe your understanding of this relationship and the role of a council person in that form of government.
Well, from attending council meetings, I've noticed that we are just not separated as, let's say, example, like Detroit. You have a mayor, you have the council, and then you have your city manager. And so it seems as though this is a smaller government that works together. That would be the extensive knowledge that I would have at this time.
Okay.
Councilman Tucson?
Okay, if appointed, what would be your number one priority on council and why?
Wow, that's a good one. Well, I think a number one priority for me is to be proactive in some of the engagements we already currently having going. So, you know, you have the beautification program. You have folks who volunteer to do city cleanups. You have council members who have vouched for making our city, let's say, cleaner, less litter, trying to find different ways to fund and give tools to our Department of Works to help clean up. I know that we have I believe, a subcommittee regarding safety issues. I don't want to say it's necessarily like a neighborhood watch, but those are things of my interest. I think that a number one priority for me really is that everyone feels safe in our city, everyone feels like they have great home values in our city, and that we continue that and we can show them that their investment into our community by purchasing a new home, they can see the things that are happening, like with, say, Kelly Road. You know, the doors are starting to open, and businesses are opening, and they're going to feel like they have accommodations in their city. So I think a priority for me is definitely feeling safe and welcome in their own community that they've invested in.
Thank you.
All right. Lauren, I know that you've given us a good indication of how involved you have been in the planning commission and various other areas of the community. So I'm going to skip down to what changes do you feel need to be made in Harper Woods, and how would you approach making those changes?
Well, I feel like accountability in all aspects of our community is honestly a little lacking. You know, I see there's not a lot of interest in actually coming to our council meetings. You know, folks aren't accountable on their own private property by respecting their neighbors. We have issues where we're backing up the court with ordinance violations, and I feel as though if we could learn how to get out the word to be more accountable for being a citizen here and not feel like we have to fill up our government with these problems when we could probably find ways to help assist them do better rather than just shaming them and fining them and, you know, using our Public Works Department to correct these issues. And so I guess kind of going back to that last question, you know, it'd be great to see a program where, you know, when North Point came out and we got a bunch of volunteers together to do yard work, you know, that gets people in code, right? That's one less drive for an officer to come by and leave a ticket on a door because someone's bushes aren't trimmed. I mean, let's get some folks together. So.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going to go off the chart here. If you were to get on council for the year remaining, would you run as a council for a council's position on your own?
Well, I have to say that I want to make sure that I feel like I've grasped all the tools that I've learned, what I needed to learn to feel strong on staying on council and rerunning. I wouldn't say no, but I definitely want to feel as though I'm actually valuable and productive and taking initiative on our council to go forward with a re-election. Hi.
Please describe how you would react to a situation in which the council voted 4-3 to approve a very contestable issue, and you were on the dissenting side.
Explain an example of when that would happen.
Yes, please describe how you would react.
Well, being that we were given time to look at an issue and really be able to research it and see what it is, I don't feel like I would necessarily always come to council undecided. I feel like I'm going to have a decision made prior to that because I don't want to put myself in a predicament where everybody's waiting on me. I don't know what happens, you know, in behind the doors here. If people are discussing and seeing who's siding with who, I'm not sure if you know, if that's what happens or not. But I definitely feel like a lot of good judgment would be involved with it, and I would definitely be comfortable in my decision.
Okay. What makes you the best candidate for this, for this position?
Well, hopefully I don't talk about myself too much. So, since I've moved here and become a homeowner, I think I moved here when I was 35, and I've noticed that there's not a lot of folks who are my age who want to be involved, and that's no disrespect for anybody who's younger or older than me. I think that, you know, it's time to learn from the people who've been here, and it is also time to give guidance to the people who would come in the future. And so when I walk our neighborhoods often, because I have a dog, you know, I reflect on what I could do better, what could be better, what are the negatives, what are the positives. And so I feel like as someone who has pride in Harper Woods and wants to be engaged, I think it would make me a great candidate to be able to offer my knowledge and my reflections and judgment to help make our city better.
Thank you. All right. You can have a seat.
Thank you, everyone.
You can have a seat and you call on number 2.
Valerie, there's more questions to be asked.
What?
Able to ask some of these other questions?
Really, you should stick with the question so it would be fair that you asked of the
Because in the past, we've been able to ask all the questions, even if we had to go around the second time.
Mm-hmm.
That would be the most fair way to do it.
Well,
Can we ask more than one question? No?
I mean, I don't feel like I know everything yet because I was expecting us to have another round like we've had in the past where we were able to ask more questions.
mm-hmm.
There's still 4 questions that were unasked.
Well,
Is that possible?
okay. If you choose to ask more than one question, you go ahead with it. We're going to start with you, Councilwoman Williams.
Okay, before we get started, should we bring Lauren back out to ask those questions or bring her around too? Oh, she's here.
Yeah, she didn't go anywhere.
Right.
I mean, once we
But
interviewed her,
Right.
I mean, if there's something burning issue in these questions that you need to ask,
Yes.
then fine. You should have chose that question in the first place. But
Well,
since you did
We've
not,
never been cut off without asking all the questions before. That's unusual.
no,
There
we've
used to be
only,
able to ask them all.
no, we've always asked the same one question of every person. That is the way we've always done it.
In the past, we've asked more than one question. I remember that.
I don't recall that. But if you would like to switch your question, but to be in fairness to the candidates, we've always asked the same question of
Right,
all
but
candidates.
I mean, there are, I would have asked 2 questions at that moment had I known that I was only gonna get to ask at that moment. There are issues on here that we need to find out what they know about. And how
Well,
they stand.
I mean, if you're, if something is burning issue, then you go with that question now, because from what you.
Well, but I need to know the answer to more than one question. You can't just ask one side of something, you have to have a whole well-rounded candidate.
Madam
I
Mayor?
would respectfully like to request that we get to finish our interview with Lauren, and then, we bring out, Ms. LaPratt.
What do you say, Judge James?
In all fairness, I would think that the council members, having been in this position too, should ask uniform questions.
Right.
So it doesn't look like, one candidate is being favored by somebody over another.
Exactly.
And you know, I think we have to be fair to all the candidates. If everybody asked one question and you didn't have a question to follow at that time and gave up your speaking position, then I would say continue on the way that we're continuing, but just be uniform.
But do we have financial questions and things on here that need to be asked? So I would respectfully request that we be able to ask these questions. And I'm happy with asking the same questions for both people, but nobody asked the financial question. We had someone who went off the grid, and we had some questions that weren't asked, and we need to ask them. And it's fine if someone goes off the grid, but we still need to ask these questions too.
Well,
I believe this financial question is very important.
the financial question is something that is important, but actually, they would have no real knowledge of it unless you're on council.
But if they have been involved, they would know.
No, they would not. They would not. So that's not really truly a fair question for all candidates, because
Right.
everyone is not aware of our financial situation to give an intelligent
But it
question
asks
that would
what-
count.
What their current understanding is.
In the past, have we asked more than one question by one?
We've asked one question, and the one question that we asked is the same question we asked of each candidate, so no one has the upper hand. Every question is uniform for each candidate. So if you pick the question at the beginning of it, that's the questions you would ask all three candidates.
That's fine.
But you want to change it to ask two questions.
No, I want to ask two questions of everybody, or at least to have the opportunity to ask all the candidates the same additional questions.
I wished you had brought this to our attention at the very beginning,
Well, I
because
didn't know you were
now,
gonna
wait
cut
just a
us off.
moment, wait just a moment. Because now we have two candidates sitting out here, and we would have to have Lauren come back to the podium to answer the
That'd be all right.
questions that you may want to ask her.
I mean, there's other questions, two other council members may also want to ask. But we have 4 unanswered questions from our list.
It's not a list that has to be asked of everybody. Those are
Well,
suggested.
but
That's correct.
Those are suggested questions.
People then ask a separate question, which is exactly what happened. They decided not to ask the question to the list. That was their question. These are suggested questions that may be asked. There's nothing mandatory that I know of, nor have I heard anything mandatory heard of by anybody.
Right.
Nor do I know of any rule that says these have to be asked, because we specifically tell council, if you have something different that you're curious about, that's important to you, you may ask it.
Right. But it's just, that question has to be asked of every candidate. You cannot switch
Correct.
back and
So
forth.
you have to have the same question, even if it was something not on this sheet,
Right.
but it's something important to you, now every candidate has to be asked that question.
Hey, Madam Mayor, I mean, I really don't see what the problem is, because we haven't started the next interview, that we can't just go ahead and ask our question, because the position of city council is very important. So if there's someone on the council who's not clear, I think, I don't see what the problem is, because we haven't even started the next interview. And just go ahead and finish the first one, and then just go ahead and move to the second one.
There might be an opportunity to ask questions after everybody's presented as well.
Okay. All right, this is what drives me.
I mean, this is an important decision. I don't feel like I have a complete picture.
Well, we all understand that this is an important decision. So we're gonna go forward, and then afterwards, if you choose to, you can ask the second question of your candidate. Sharon,
Okay,
would
that would
you?
be fine.
I'm asking for the attorney's opinion.
After everyone has been asked the same set of questions the first round, then you can, of course, call up the candidate and say, wait a minute, I want to ask you something else, and I need a clarification. If the council wants to proceed on that level, that's a little different, and then, but all the people will still be in here, all three candidates.
Right.
We're not going to censure or closure anybody at that point.
Okay.
So that's more of a follow-up. I have another question, I need clarification or something as a follow-up after this initial,
Thank you.
yes, so that's just uniform and fair.
That's what we'll follow. That's what we'll do. Terry, you want to step forward and give your presentation?
Hi, I'm Jerry Ann the Pratt, and call me Jerry. So, I don't have a resume to hand you because I haven't needed one in 40 years. So, I was raised right here on the east side of Detroit, attended Bishop Gallagher High School, went on to Central Michigan University where I achieved a bachelor's degree in applied arts with a dual commercial art and drawing. My minor was industrial technology. After college, I moved to Harper Woods for the first time in 1988. I rented a house over on Roscommon with my brother. And we thought, this is great. We're young, we got this house in this great neighborhood. And he turned around and became a Detroit firefighter and had to move to the city of Detroit. And so off I went to Detroit and started my career. I started right out of college. What I do is I work in an art gallery. I do custom framing. When my children were little, I worked part-time. And then as they got older, I started working more and more. And now I've gone back to a part-time career. I work at a nice art gallery out in Bloomfield Township where I do sales. I do all of our ordering. I work with customers. I work with vendors. And I like my job. So in 1996, we had our second child and we bought a house in Harper Woods. We looked at a lot of houses and chose a house in the Grosse Pointe Public School System. My oldest was starting kindergarten. My youngest was an infant. We outgrew that house, and in 2001, we bought our second house in Harper Woods. So during that time, we became involved in the Harper Woods Little League program. So for 18 years, my kids played Little League, and during that time, I worked in the concession stand. I was a team mom and met hundreds of families here in Harper Woods. I joined the Monteith PTO, where I served as the school board observer. I ran our ice cream social, which was by far the largest event at the school. I continued, as my kids were in school, to be room mom, to chair and co-chair multiple committees, including the candlelight ceremony at the all-night party. I helped with TMP. Anything that there was, I was there at those schools helping. I've always attended Grosse Pointe School Board meetings and still attend them. I'm very interested in what goes on with our schools, both in Grosse Pointe and here in Harper Woods. A few years ago, I served on a committee. It was a no recall committee. When they attempted to recall some board members, I was on the side of the no recall, and they weren't recalled. Here in Harper Woods, right now I'm on the master plan committee. I volunteered all 4 days at the vaccine clinic. A couple of years ago, we started a charity with Thanksgiving. And then this year, in the last couple of years, we started this, I talked about it at the council meeting, we call it Operation Good Cheer, where we collect things from the residents, and we gave baskets to 20 senior citizens. And we hope to grow this so that we can give more and maybe do it more than just at Christmas time, because people need things all year round. I'm also very involved in my church, St. Matthew Detroit. It's a very large building with a small congregation, but I'm involved in our St. Vincent de Paul program. I'm the chair of our Giving Tree. This year we provided 96 children from 25 families a Christmas, and they got a nice Christmas. We collect gifts, call all the families, see what sizes, what they need. We work with St. Rene Goupil and go out there and they donate things and we sort everything and we get a hold of these families. If they can't get a ride, we'll take it to you. I'm also on the Jazz Committee, the Organ Committee, and on the Hospitality Committee. During my time here at in Harper Woods, in 2008, during the housing crisis, I watched at least 40 families that I know and I'm still friends with abandon our city. I watched my own home go underwater and we stuck with it. I've seen Harper Woods and its heyday, I've seen it go down and I'm seeing it come right back up. And I can tell you that I have attended every single city council meeting for the past 3 years. I think a couple of you have it. So I may have attended more than any of you sitting there. So my kids are grown and it's time for the next step. I became very interested in how city government works, and so I come to these meetings because I care. I really care about this city. I'm not going anywhere, and I want to see us grow. I've liked the changes that are happening. So that's me in a nutshell, and I don't like to talk about myself. So I like to talk, but not about myself. So that's it.
Okay. We'll start with you, Councilwoman Williams.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the same question I asked before, even though
Yes.
some of these questions don't apply to every candidate, but please describe how you would react to a situation in which the council voted 4-3 to approve a very contestable issue, and you were on the dissenting side.
I'm a straight shooter. I'm going to stick to my guns. I'm going to do my research, and I'm going to keep my vote. If I come in and I've done the research and I don't think that something should be passed, I'm not passing it. I'm not going to be pressured by somebody else, and that's the way I work.
Tom?
I'll stick with my question. If you were to get on council, would you run for council when your seat position comes up?
That's a good question. Seeing a lot of people through here, and, I really like this. Honestly, I need to give it a month or so and then see if I'm going to throw my name in. Right now, I would say probably yes. It's not just a temporary thing. But am I 100% sure? No, probably about 90.
Me? All right. What changes do you feel need to be made in the city of Harper Woods, and how would you approach making these changes?
The biggest thing I see is there's a problem with these ordinances. I watch some friends of mine. My sister lived on Eastwood. She moved in 1982, so I watched, the neighborhood, and know a lot of these people. So you have problems like where someone has an ordinance violation, the police call the police, the ordinance, they come out, they get ticketed, they clean it up, and then a week later it's back. That maybe we need some type of a tiered ticketing program where sock it to them in the wallet, because if we're not doing anything to try to get these people to stop, then something has to change, because we can't have keep coming out, you get a ticket, clean up your mess. You get a ticket, you clean up the mess. We need to stop to some of this.
Thank you.
Mr. Toussaint?
Yes, I have to ask the exact same question?
Yeah.
Okay. If appointed, what would be your number one priority on council and why?
My number one priority, well, would be to make sure I attend meetings and do a lot of research. I sit here and I watch what's going on, and I know it's not as easy as what people think. So I think my number one priority would be to make some phone calls and do a lot of research, and not to walk into a meeting without having read my pamphlet and read my packet and know exactly what was happening in this city.
Thank you.
Councilwoman?
The City of Harper Woods is a council manager form of government. Please describe your understanding of the relationship and the role of a council person in that form of government.
So our city has an acting city manager, and we have a mayor, but everything needs to be voted on by the council. So if it's not approved by the council, so hiring, firing, raises, things like that, all need to be approved by all the council. We have two heads that may instrument everything, but it's really the entire body that is making the governing decisions.
Okay, what makes you the best candidate for Harperwood City Council?
The best candidate?
The best candidate?
Probably that I attend everything, and I really, not that either of the other two, I'm sure they care, they're here. That's why they're here. Do I care more? In my heart, I think I do. Is it the truth? I don't know. But I think that's what makes me a good candidate, is I truly care. And I show it by being here, and, that's it.
All right. Okay. Well, thank you very much. And we will call you guys back for some more questions after we finish this interview, this last interview.
As a resident of Harper Woods for 26 years, I understand the city's past, and as a young person, I see its future. I understand our budget, our departments, and the overall structure of a council-manager system of government, including being adept at Robert's Rules of Parliamentary Procedure. I have experience in local government, working for both the executive and legislative branches of the City of Detroit's government, running the Duggan Administration's Business Opportunity Program, and as a legislative director helping approve the 2023-2026 city budget. In addition, my experience working in Lansing as a staffer in the Michigan Senate, in addition to MML service on boards and commissions there, I would humbly love to serve and to be an asset to the city of Harper Woods. I've served on the Harper Woods Planning Commission in the past and been an active volunteer here in the city. My experience in education and international research have contributed to a deeper understanding of the community and its needs, and how to face socioeconomic and demographic shifts. I have a BA and a master's degree in political science from Wayne State University. I have lived in places like Russia, China, and South Africa, researching how emerging markets and developing economies can grow from nothing to something. I currently work in economic development in the nonprofit sector, and have done essential research and raised millions of dollars in funds for Metro Detroit entrepreneurial ecosystem endeavors, and have lobbied in Washington, D.C. for long-term talent retention and innovative strategies. These are all qualities which will allow me to serve the city of Harper Woods with passion, efficiency, knowledge, and experience. We all remember growing up in Harper Woods. It was idyllic, how safe, close-knit, and welcoming it felt. The city may have changed a little bit, but the citizens are still the heart of the city. People who show up, donate, volunteer, clean up, check on each other, and take pride in how we treat each other as residents with respect and kindness. We want to inspire the next generation of Harperwood citizens to work and play here. Working together with all of you esteemed colleagues in civil service, supporting our residents and our employees who work tirelessly, doing more with less and never letting city services quality slip. Let's envision ways to strengthen the tax base and make ours the envy of all other cities. When we envision the future, it's important to know the what, how, and why. Our why is collectively moving towards all of the things that we love and why we're all collectively devoted to the city. Together, we can bring innovative plans to inspire the community. Plans like, with all of the new and exciting developments with the Eastland Center, we have to prepare for the jobs of the 21st century. Global workforce development and talent attraction and retention, jobs like smart manufacturing, electrification, and staying on target to be attractive to other federal programs like the Inflation Reduction Act. The plan is to build brighter alongside visionaries like Ty Hinton and economic development partners we have currently to foster small business development and to be redevelopment ready, working with the SIMCOG and the MEDC. Let's establish a DDA and work on branding and marketing to make Harper Woods a great place to be. I would like to leverage my experience working with organizations every day like TechTown, the Mike Ilitch School of Business in Centropolis at Lawrence Tech, to give back to the city that I love, and I will work tirelessly as a city council person to bring results. Let's leverage new ideas and work together in our amazing community and keep being awesome. We are poised at the forefront of attraction, retention, and community engagement. Our city is resilient, and the best is yet to come. Thank you.
Thank you.
I yield my time.
First question, Councilwoman Constantino.
You actually kind of hit on this, but we have to ask the same questions all the time. The City of Harper Woods is a council manager form of government. Please describe your understanding of the relationship and the role of a council person in that form of government.
So the council person is going to be the person who signs off on decisions based on what the city manager or acting city manager is going to be handling, the day-to-day administration and all of the executive matters, but all of the legislative decisions are then made by council members.
Councilman Tucson.
If appointed, what would be your number one priority on council and why?
I think we should have a Pet of the Month club in the city of Harper Woods. I'm just joking. I really think that making sure that the city is solvent and bringing in opportunities to partner with small business development, economic development, and entrepreneurship is a cause that's near and dear and close to my heart. If we could attract new talent and bring in entrepreneurs or grow homegrown entrepreneurs, as we have done with the Harper Woods Soup, and I think that those are some of the priorities, is to continue all of the economic development endeavors that we have started here as a city, and to keep that train going strong.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
What changes do you feel need to be made in the city of Harper Woods, and how would you approach making these changes?
I think that there could be a lot more branding and marketing around Harper Woods is as a place where you want to live, work, and play. You want to come here and have fun, and we can attract. So if you have food trucks and things who, you know, need a place to be, they can come here and they can show folks that, you know, Harper Woods is changing, and we're a close-knit community that, you know, we welcome everyone. And I think that those are some of the ways in which we can bring innovation and new ideas to, that's just one example, to, you know, just really make sure that folks know, like, who we are, and, you know, using that branding and marketing to show that Harper Woods is here and we're dynamic.
Thank you.
Yes, if you were to get on council, would you be a one and done, or would you run for re-election?
I would seek to run for reelection.
So my question, please describe how you would react to a situation on which the council voted 4-3 to approve a very contestable issue, and you were on the dissenting side.
I think that this is a really important way in which you would have to weigh all of the outcomes, all of the possible outcomes, and you'd have to be an independent thinker, and you would have to do your research on the issue beforehand. And I think that it's really important to make sure that whatever your vote, the outcome and how it weighs on the citizens of Harper Woods is paramount, and that takes precedence over how maybe your colleagues vote or how maybe you feel about the issue. It's really more about what impact will this have on the residents of the city of Harper Woods.
Right? What makes you the best candidate for the City of Harper Woods Council?
I don't like to say I'm the best candidate. I really think that, you know, we are a community, we're scrappy. I went to high school here, I've been raised here, and you know, it's funny because, like, my father, who passed away a few years ago, he brought me and my family here for a better life, and I just truly think that it's been a great community to grow up in, and there are so many stellar neighbors. I'm looking at the audience, and there's so many neighbors that I've had such great experiences with, you know, just being here, and the talented women who I am, you know, so honored to be running for this spot with. I really think that we are a community of doers and innovators and creative people, and so I really think that one out of many is my sort of mantra when it comes to this community and why we're so unique and why I love it so much. But I think that if I had to say something, it's the zest, zeal, and passion that I have, and the willingness to put aside any personal things and to work together. And I think that I've had to learn some life lessons to realize that it's important to work together as a collective, and that's why I think I would be an asset to the community.
All right, thank you. So, we're at the junction right now. There are 4 different questions. So, you pick your 4 questions, ask Mrs. Lyons right now, and then we will ask the next 2 candidates to come up to answer those very same questions.
Okay. I'll take the next question. What is your current understanding of the financial situation of the city of Harper Woods?
Well, with regard to the city budget, I think that we are in a great place due to some of the developments with North Point, and we have tried to work hard to stay solvent, and, you know, thanks to leadership of Mr. Szymanski as a finance director and, you know, as acting city manager, I think that we've been able to stay afloat, and I know that we've also been in receipt of ARPA funds to help facilitate a lot of the repairs and other budgetary concerns that were issues in the past. And I think that for the first time, we are not in danger. And, you know, I worked on the city budget about 2 years ago, and so that is my understanding of the budget.
Mr. Toussaint.
I don't have a question. I'm open.
I'll ask this question of all candidates. What have you done for the city of Harper Woods in the last year?
I have just kind of been a person who wants to come out and help volunteer. I've been very active with our Harper Woods Neighborhood Economic Development Coalition and the various clubs and committees within that. And I've also been on board for the leaf cleanup that North Point Development put together, joining some of you here on council. And I have also been a person who really just wants to be in the back seat of some of the volunteer and engagement efforts, and wherever I can be as a part of the community, I will be there.
I'm all set.
I guess my question is very similar to when I was previously asked. I was gonna ask, what other boards or committees, have you been with for the city of Harper Woods?
I served on the Planning Commission for 6 years. I was secretary there, and I served on Harperwood City Council for from 2019 to 2021. I have also been a part of the NEDC, which is not official, but many of our volunteers here in the community are active with it, and that's the extent to which I've applied for some things. But mhm.
All right, with that, we'll have no further questions. Jerry, if you would step back, and we'll ask these three same questions of you, starting with Councilwoman Williams.
And my question is, what other boards or committees have you been, what other boards or committees have you been on for the city of Harper Woods?
Currently, in the last year,
No, in the, I guess the last 5 years or recently.
well, Harper Woods Little League folded, so I'm on the master plan committee. That's the only official committee that I'm on right now.
And you said you were on the planning committee too, right?
No, the master plan committee. I was never on the planning committee.
And my question is, what have you done in Harper Woods in the last year?
Well, I ran a couple of pretty good charities, and I do run a couple of Facebook groups that we try to keep things straight. That's about it. I think that's pretty good.
Thank you. Councilwoman Constantino.
Yep. What is your current understanding of the financial situation of the city of Harper Woods?
I think we're just holding water. I've come to budget meetings. I've seen the pie chart. I know 80% of our budget goes to police and fire. That I know that legacy costs are killing these cities. My 88-year-old mother is still getting benefits from the city of Grosse Pointe Park. And I know that with these new developments coming, it's gonna really help us. Milk River, those mills, you know, we are just holding water. We're doing better, but it's not a clear sail right now.
All right, thank you. Lauren? Starting with you, Councilwoman Constantino.
What is your current understanding of the financial situation in the city of Harper Woods right now?
Well, I know that I get a glimpse of the budget via a tax invoice and also on our calendar. But also I do know that we are actually in the positive, but barely holding on a very tight budget. And so I feel like when I joined the Planning Commission, I was very happy to hear that North Point was coming, and I'm hoping that it will give all of us some relief.
My question is, what have you done in Harper Woods for the last year?
My spouse would probably say too much. Well, I've been on the Planning Commission for 2 years. I have volunteered at the Grosse Pointe Animal Adoption Society, and I also was an election inspector this year. I've also attended some of the old and new events that have happened, like the art fair that we had this year with the mural. That was great. I did go to part of the Christmas lighting, and I'm probably forgetting something in between, but I do try to get there when I can.
And then my question was, what other boards or committees have you been on for the city of Harper Woods?
Only the Planning Commission that expired the end of this year, or 2022.
Right, thank you. Okay, so how do we proceed?
Okay. At this time, we'll tally the votes. Everybody has I believe, an official ballot.
Madam Mayor, may I say, I am very happy with all of our candidates. I think that our candidates are, we're fortunate that people have stepped up to this position. And I'm very happy with all of our candidates. So it's gonna be a tough decision.
This is a tough decision, very tough.
All right,
Okay. When you make your selection, if you want to just pass your card down, unfold it in half and pass it down to me. Thank you.
supposed to sign them?
Yes.
Yes.
All right,
Okay. You want to pass those to the city manager, and if you want to go ahead and read them to me?
Sure.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
I sent mine down.
Oh,
first.
okay, I'm sorry.
That's the
I wanted
first
to
one.
make sure, 'cause
Yeah.
I didn't see it go past.
Is everybody set?
mm-hmm,
Okay. Tom Jenny, Miss LaPrat. Regina Williams, Ernestine Lyons. Valerie Kindle, Miss LaPrat. Vivian Sawicki, Miss LaPrat. Ivory Toussaint, Ernestine Lyons. Cheryl Costantino, Ernestine Lyons.
Be a 3-3 tie.
mm-hmm.
Okay, we would go another round.
Is there any questions that you'd like to ask of the two candidates remaining?
You don't want
I'd like to ask
Are
them.
we allowed to? Ask them a
Or
question?
I suppose then all three of the candidates, you can ask another question.
But this is specific just to Ms. Mercer. Is that allowed? Can I just? No, okay.
Are we able to ask some more questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we go our second round?
It only makes sense to do the questions first before we do the second round. Otherwise, we're gonna end up with all the same answers.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to ask all the candidates, name one major issue that the Harper Woods Council has been faced with, and what would have been your position on that issue? One issue that the council's been faced with, and what would have been your, position on that issue? Just from the-
You want to take them in order of?
Who are you asking that question of?
All three candidates.
Okay, so normally, we just go for the second round of votes. But I don't see why we're asking any further questions. We just do a second round of votes. Because we have a 3-3 tie. So is there something standing out between the candidates that's gonna make you change your vote?
Depends on how they answer the question.
Right.
I mean, if they're gonna answer it, or if you're gonna let them answer it. If not, then
We usually just go for the second round. I've never, as long as I've been involved, have we had to go back over questions again. So we just need to do our votes again from the official ballot and turn it in, and we'll move it on forward.
all right.
So if you would submit your ballots now, and then we will get the count once again. And if we do not have 4, if one candidate does not have 4, then we would have to do this once again. That's the way we've normally done it.
Still waiting on me.
Me too.
Tom Jenny, Ms. LaPratte, Regina Williams, Ernestine Lyons, Cheryl Costantino, Ernestine Lyons, Valerie Kendall, Ms. LaPratte, Vivian Sawicki, Lauren Mercer, Ivory Toussaint, Ernestine Lyons.
Question. If it was last time I got, came down to 2 candidates that were 3-3, it doesn't seem like Lauren should be in the count this time.
Hey, she should have been.
She shouldn't have been.
No,
Oh, yeah, she should have.
She was, you said
She's
that,
still a
yeah, you
candidate.
said 3.
It's 3-3. I mean, it still doesn't have,
We need 4.
you need 4.
All right, so my question for all the candidates, if I can ask this question, is if you're not on council, what else would you do for the city? In other words, what would you plan to do in the upcoming year for the community if you don't make it on council?
Point of order, you did not allow Ms. Costantino to ask a question in
Right.
between, so you shouldn't be allowed to ask one either. Unless you're.
I'm just
Yes.
wondering
Unless
how
we
we
all
can
get to
break this
ask one.
tie.
If we all have the opportunity, it's fair. I'm not opposed to you asking a question.
Mm-mm. So,
Well, the first round was to eliminate somebody, and we did.
I didn't think we
No, we
eliminated
didn't, we were
anybody.
told that it was amongst all 3.
right. Well, we're at an impasse right now.
Do,
I don't understand.
I'll ask the city attorney if you don't mind.
Hmm?
At this point, what can we do? I mean, I know that in other organizations, you might have
42
an opportunity for people, you know, for council members
meet
to.
and talk and debate, correct?
Right.
Correct, we've never had it here, and again, I'll say it again, we don't have any rules on the subject, we have the charter,
Right.
And is there anything that,
There's something in the charter about that being majority vote, by city council. That's about the only rule we have.
I do recall many years ago that we went into 12 votes for,
Mhm.
you know,
Yes.
but I don't recall whether we talked about the candidates at the table or not.
I do recall maybe a few years ago, where there was some discussion at the table as to what people were looking for in the candidate and why they chose a specific candidate. I do recall that. I don't recall, again, candidates have been up, they've said their piece, you've interviewed them. Now it becomes a decision among council members.
Mhm.
So it's for all of you to discuss and create and perhaps change somebody's mind. That's typically the way legislatures.
I guess I still don't understand, what's the purpose of the first round? I thought the first round was to eliminate.
No, it was just.
If I could add something, and this is from personal experience, many years ago, I was in exactly the same position, and it was for a vacant city council seat, and we went 32 rounds. It was Ken Pointer and I want to say in the final analysis, I believe it was Carl Barr that was selected by the city council. So, yes, 32 rounds of voting. I think we got out at about 11:30 at night.
I remember that.
So,
Suggest that
Madam Mayor,
everybody state, potentially state why you chose the candidate you chose, and see if you can persuade the others. Mhm.
Well, okay, so, at this point, we still have all three, or we just go
I
with the
think
two?
so, yes, I think there's three.
There's no elimination round. I mean, they're elected by majority. There's no elimination round. Like you get
Yeah,
eliminated.
that's what I thought.
Yeah, you have no
From the
rules
first
for that.
round, we should have only allowed two to move forward.
no, there's no
We've done it when there
elimination.
was, when there were, more than 5 candidates, we've kind of done it that way, just to kind of narrow it down, but with 3 candidates, it's a lot easier, I think, to, come to 4 consecutive votes for one candidate, because it's a smaller group to begin with.
If we continue with a 3-3 tie,
That's not gonna get us anywhere.
we're not going anywhere.
Although that happened a long time ago.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
So perhaps a round of questions wouldn't be unheard of to determine one candidate over the other, might change somebody's thought process, but that's at the pleasure of the council.
Okay. At the pleasure of the council,
Madam Mayor? May
Yes.
I offer the suggestion that the 3 candidates sequester themselves again, and that we go through another round of questions that we can ask
Okay.
each individual candidate?
okay. Anyone have any objections to that? I mean, I don't wish to be here till 12 o'clock tonight, but, if it is what it is. So we can ask questions that may be more pertinent, that make someone want to think about something else? Or do we just take another round of votes?
We'll just find ourselves in the same position.
Right.
And we'll be in the same position, basically. So, as it stands, we will ask another round of questions, not necessarily on this paper, but whatever question you ask one, you must ask the other.
I would ask the council to vote on that, yea or nay. That's what everybody
Yeah,
wants to do.
so we
Just
need a
for-
motion.
Just for clarity.
I'll offer the motion to sequester and ask questions again.
Okay. Any support? Okay. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right then, so this is what we are going to do. You all are once again sequestered, and we will start again with the numbers that we already have. Okay, so that will be you, Lauren, first, and Jerry second, and Ernestine last.
Thank you for putting yourselves through this for us.
So just remember, your question has to be answered to the same, each candidate, the same question.
And it doesn't have to be on that list.
And it does not have to be on this list, but it has to be the same question. So, start with you, Councilwoman Williams.
Okay, my question would be, give some examples of group decision-making you've been involved with and how these experiences could be utilized on the council.
Well, I think about a specific decision I had to make with the Planning Commission last year. It was regarding the zoning for Poupard. And also another one would be the approval and zoning for the BP gas station that's going to go up. For Poupard, they asked for a rezoning of the lot, and it was sort of a, what's the word I want to look for? It was a zoning that they were asking that was sort of like an open decision, right? You know, you could kind of do whatever you wanted with the property. And we, as the commission as a whole, we took into consideration how citizens felt about it at the open hearing. And we felt that it was best to table it because we could not vote against the citizens who did not like the fact that there was no confidence or actual plan put in place into what this new variance was going to be. As for the BP situation, we had no information prior to that, and so I feel that we actually did very well questioning the owner of the property and of the business, and getting good questions out of them to figure out, you know, if this was really the best decision for Harper Woods. And if you don't mind, I could add a third one in there, and we ended up voting yes on it. But the third one was when North Point decided to split up their parcel into 3 parcels, and so that threw us for a loop as well. And I felt like we did a very good job as a commission, once again, asking the questions that need to be asked so that we can make sure we're making the proper decision. And so with the information we were given, we felt like we did make the right decision by splitting that lot, because in the end it will raise our tax base. So. Mm-hmm.
If elected, how much time can you devote to council and city decisions and issues?
Well, I'm a busybody, so as soon as I get out of work, I'm usually looking for something to do, which is how I ended up getting into volunteering. I really put no time limit on it. I do ask that if I'm taking a vacation, I'm really taking a vacation, but of course, being to these meetings is very important because this isn't just a commission where, you know, I read the research and there's enough people to have a discussion about it. But at this point, I mean, you're at a higher level where this is where you make the decision of what money we're spending in our city and how it's going to affect the community as a whole. And although the Planning Commission is very important, there are questions that come to council that are a next level that involve all of our different boards and commissions, including the citizens.
Lauren, I like what you said earlier when you talked about having pride in the community and the fact that you feel young people have to step up. And I guess in your presentation, perhaps I missed it, what you do in real life, other than volunteering, and how that would influence you as a council member.
Yeah, so I'm not going to say what department I work for, but I do work for the federal government. I am an executive secretary for that department. Also, it's a fancy way of saying legal assistant, but when you work for executives, you get a fancier title. So, I am executive secretary in the federal government. The reason why I can't really say where I work is because to get approval to go through this process, I'm not supposed to use my job title as part of getting onto the council or any kind of board or commission in the city.
Can you give us some indication that your experience at your actual job would help you as a council member?
Yes, so where I work, I started out working in civil litigation, and now that I'm a secretary for the executives, we do a lot of community-based work. I mean, we do work through the eastern side of Michigan, and so my particular bosses, they work with the community, especially Detroit, getting resources for people, whether it's, you know, you're coming out of incarceration, if you need help or advocacy in the LGBTQ community. We work with residents on what issues that they are having problems with in their community, whether it's crime or civil rights issues. And so I'm a lot closer to that now. And I get to assist my bosses in that work. And they meet with a lot of people, and so I do a lot of coordinating for them. And I'm also a hiring coordinator in that actual department. And so I help onboard new attorneys to our office.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, that was part of the question I was going to ask. So at this point, that was my question too, so.
Okay.
Fine.
Oh, no, you
I have to
gotta,
ask the question?
you have to figure out a question.
Okay, I gotta figure out a question.
Yeah, no, you're not getting off that easy.
Okay, you know, okay. What is this?
You could ask him before if you want. I can ask you before. I'm not gonna ask him yet.
Please, friend, please, have we done number 6? You did 6?
No, we did.
Okay, please describe your previous work in the community and how these experiences qualify you for a position on council.
Well, as Councilwoman Sawicki mentioned before, I've become more involved in my community because I want to see that my community really steps up to the plate and people can feel inspired or motivated to also get involved. And I think that's about as
Okay, that's good.
Councilwoman Constantino.
Okay. Ms. Merson, I think you're awesome. I have a lot of respect for you. You have a lot of common sense. Your pride in Harper Woods just stands out. I see you everywhere. So, yeah, I was excited to see you running, and this was a very tough decision, very tough. But can you name one major issue on the Harperwood, or that the Harper Woods Council has faced, and maybe in the last few years, and with what would your position been on that issue?
I think one that stood out was the issue with our former city manager. There seemed to be a lot behind that. And I'm sure that was a tough decision for you guys because not only are there veterans on the council who had to deal with that, and being that he was in the service, that was probably very touchy for everyone. But I think that I don't know if I want to give my personal opinion on it. I think that I give you guys credit for making the decision that you needed to do to make the city run the best that it could, and so I think that was definitely one of the more challenging events that I can remember with Harper Woods and council.
Okay, part of the question was what would have been your position on the issue?
What would have been my position? Okay.
Yeah. If you're
I would have
comfortable
voted. I would have voted yes with you guys, I would have voted in the decision that you guys went with, which was to release him, and I think that was fair.
Thank you.
Your turn.
Is there anything that you have done in the last year with your volunteerism for the city of Harper Woods that you could do better?
I think that it would be great. I mean, I really give a lot of credit to like what Jerry and Mary Beth and Jarvis have done with the whole collection for the holidays. That's great. And so I think that there are actual events or ideas that I think would be of interest and positive for the city. But I feel like I would have to figure out how to get through the ropes of that, right? And figure out how to get approval and do it properly. And so that's been sort of one of my next goals, is to figure out how to get events going in the city that I feel other cities are having that we're maybe possibly missing out on.
Thank you. All right. I appreciate you. Thank you very much, Lauren. Okay, starting with Cheryl Constantino.
Okay, Jerry, I appreciate that you've had excellent attendance to the meetings and things like that. I want to ask you, name one major issue that the Harper Woods City Council has been faced with recently in the last couple of years, and what would have been your position on that issue?
Well, I know something that affects a lot of residents is when you voted to eliminate recycling. And, when I first heard it, I was like, I recycle a lot. My husband is the hazardous waste manager for Oakland University. It's what we do. So then I started doing some research, talked to some council members, and said, what's going on? And changed, and I would have voted with council because I saw what was happening, that our recycling was going to China, the cost that was involved. I think now we could maybe relook at everything, but that decision was a hard decision, and I think it was the right decision at the time.
Thank you. Mr. Toussaint?
Okay. Please describe your, again, Jerry, I'm glad to see that you are running. We've had some good time playing some pickleball, and you've been very instrumental in keeping that program going this summer. And you've been doing quite a bit with the websites and things like that. So I have to highly respect the things that you've done so far. So please describe your previous work in the community and how these experiences qualify you for a position on council.
Well, I would say that my volunteer work. Being a volunteer, when you're never alone. Even if you chair something, you're with a lot of people. So you have to learn how to work with other people. Other people have different ideas. You're not getting paid. So how are you going to get along with these people and make these volunteer work? And I would say that's what my greatest quality is. I got a call last Thursday. I was at work from my priest going, we need help tomorrow. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm playing pickleball in the morning, and then let me see. And, sure, I know that when someone calls, and people know this about me, I'm first one there. I can't say no. So I would say that's probably my greatest asset to the city of Harper Woods. You call me, and I'm there to help you out.
Thank you.
I echo what Councilmember Toussaint just said about your volunteering and just the impact that you have in our community. It's very impressive. My question is, how would your real life job help you to influence your job on city council?
I am a pretty persuasive salesperson. I don't know if you've ever had custom framing done. It's expensive. It's really expensive. And I've learned in 37 years of doing this how to talk to people, to be reasonable, to set expectations, listen to what other people have to say, and I do the same with my vendors. We have to negotiate terms, and you have to talk to people in a way that you want to be spoken to. So you have to be a good negotiator, and you have to be able to talk to people in an accepting way. And I would say that with my job is, I have a lot of clients that are, sports stars, musicians. I mean, these are some pretty well-to-do people. They make way more than me. They have different experiences than me, but we can talk to each other in a way that is polite, and I usually get them laughing pretty quickly. So,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
If elected, how much time can you devote to the council and city decisions?
I have plenty of time. I work about 20 hours a week. I play a lot of pickleball, but I have time. I've left events to come to council meetings to observe. I have plenty of time to devote to council and committees and commissions, and I hope to. What I'd love to be on is the charter committee. I think there's some problems, and some things need to be resolved. I agree with Councilwoman Williams. It needs to be fixed.
Okay, so my question, give some examples of group decision-making you've been involved with and how these experiences can be utilized in council.
Well, when I serve on some of our committees, especially at church, there'll be 6 or 7 people. We're working with a lot of money, doing some fundraising. You have to be a good listener. You can't come in with the wall up saying, this is the way we're going to do things. So you do your research, come to a meeting knowing your stuff, and then, but still have the ability to listen to what other people have to say. So I would say that's my greatest asset in that question.
Well, is there anything that you've done on any committee that you think you could have done better?
If anybody ever says that we could never do better, then they're lying to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We can always all be a better listener. We can always give a little more of our time. We can, do a little more research. There's always things. Myself, sometimes you just got to be a better listener and be more accepting and and not have an agenda behind things.
There you go. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. That's it. All right.
So my question, give some examples of group decision-making you've been involved with and how these experiences could be utilized on council.
Group decision-making, well, when I served on city council, I know that there were several decisions in which the council sort of stood at an impasse, and I think that in some ways it's really important to be able to convince the other folks who are you're working with in any situation, to convince them that what you're arguing for is the best possible choice. And I just think that you have to have all of the options presented, all sides of the story, all sides of whatever the issue is, and then you can try to convey why this is the best decision and how it impacts the people involved in that decision making.
All right, if elected, how much time can you devote to council and city decisions?
I think I know I overdid it when I served on city council before, and I was always involved, so it was probably like 25 hours a week, from various opportunities and meeting with people and volunteering and being at several events and working with colleagues. But I do think that it's a labor of love, and I work a full-time job, but I am always available for Harper Woods community events, whether I'm a precinct delegate currently, and I make time for those sort of things for my side of the city, and also for NEDC events and, you know, various other community engagements with various political groups that exist within our city. And so there's always going to be an opportunity to make time for your community to serve.
Okay. I'm not I know you've given us a good indication of the number of different things that you've done. I'm not certain what your current job is, but the question is, how would your real life job help you or influence your job at City Council?
So currently I work as the Entrepreneur in Residence Program Manager for an organization. It's a nonprofit called Global Detroit. And so I work from home, so it's a remote job. My executive director actually moved out to California, and then we completely went remote. And so there actually is a lot of flexibility in that. And it's the type of job where you do have flex hours on Mondays and Fridays. And so, and then of course evenings. And I think that I would translate that work because I work with entrepreneurs. I work with and manage programs with the University of Michigan, Wayne State University, and I work with some of the incubators and accelerators like Build Institute and Lawrence Tech's Centropolis Accelerator. And we work on helping entrepreneurs find options to grow in Michigan. And so it's all about the Global Talent Retention Program, which is a part of what I do, on a daily basis for my 9-to-5 work. And it's essentially just really helping retain talent in Michigan, bring talent to Michigan, and grow talent in Michigan. So I would like to continue doing that as a city council person here, expanding the work that I started with the Harper Woods Soup, the micro-granting community dinner, and helping entrepreneurial ideas grow and helping development grow and facilitating those conversations as I do during my day job to bring in partners like U of M and Wayne State and Ann Arbor Spark, people who accelerate ideas and incubate those. So that's what I do, and that is a little bit of how I would bring and integrate that work into what I do here or what I would ostensibly do as a council person.
Okay. I know you've been a previous city council person, and I've seen you out there with the turkeys. We were giving out turkeys before, and you stay pretty active with quite a few areas. So please describe your previous work in the community and how these experiences qualify you for a position on council.
Well, I've been a very avid volunteer with various organizations that exist within the city. You mentioned the CCI Center actually had a few different events, and I was able to partner with the school district. I've volunteered with different events that the school district will host. I'm active with the Grosse Pointe Democratic Club. I am also active, but not as much this year or this past year, with the Grosse Pointe NAACP, Grosse Pointe Harper Woods NAACP. I have been very active with the Michigan Municipal League's advisory boards in the past. I was a part of the Elected Officials Academy advisory board, in addition to the Economic Development and Land Use Board. So I'm still out there doing and helping with cleanups, as I mentioned with the North Point Development cleanup. I volunteer at the polls, whether it's for election canvassing or precinct delegate trainings. And as a precinct delegate, I'm very active with my precinct, and I try to go out and support just voter engagement. I was a fellow with a program called 1,000 Women Strong that really advocates voter engagement and to get out the vote in a nonpartisan way. So those are some of the ways in which I have stayed active volunteering. And I wanted to join the Zoning Board of Appeals, and I applied for that as well, and was unsuccessful, but those are ways in which I want to make sure that we're staying involved in the community, whether it's doing cleanups, volunteering with the Neighborhood Economic Development Coalition and the NEDC with the Gun Violence Task Force, or Crime Reduction and Law Enforcement Task Force, or the business opportunity programs that they have started, and various endeavors that are still going on. And then I host a podcast where I talk to locals here. I've had a few folks who are really doing amazing things in the community on the podcast, and it's open to all residents here. And I have those conversations that are really important to economic development, to community development, advocacy, and just being your best self. And I try to educate people on what are local issues, meaning like water boards and water commissions. I hosted in the past something called the Local Elected Officials sort of guide to what you need to do in local politics to stay civically engaged.
Thank you.
Okay. I appreciate your technology and innovation and entrepreneurship and bringing the future type of things to Harper Woods. It's kind of a weakness that our city has, and I think that's a strength that you have. Can you name one major issue that the Harper Woods City Council has been faced with in the last couple of years, and what would have been your position on the issue?
Well, we faced a number of issues, including making a decision with the North Point development and rezoning that, and I served at that time to make that decision to rezone from commercial to light industrial manufacturing purposes. In addition, I know that there have been issues around, we've had 2 barricaded gunman situations that have happened in the city, and I know that there's also an issue with speeding, and, you know, those are things that are impacting all of us as residents of Harper Woods. But I do know that there are ways in which we can collaborate with other parts of government to make sure that, you know, you can come up with ways to incentivize some sort of a solution, whether, I know that our mayor worked with the sheriff's department, and, you know, there were some initiatives that, you know, were able to happen to curtail some of that speeding. And so I think that to answer the second part of the question, it's really more about looking at what are those issues and how are they, you know, I hate to sound like a broken record, but like, how is it going to impact the community, our budget, our bottom line? Can we afford to do certain maneuvers? And is this vote going to be deleterious to like our long-term, you know, just solvency? So I think those are the real answers to how you would arrive at solutions for tough questions and tough problems facing the city.
Okay, is there anything that you've done in the past that you feel now that you could do better?
Well, prior to even joining council and as a city planning commissioner, I started the Pedal to Porch storytelling bike tour with the support of many council and many people here in government. And then after that, started the Harper Woods Soup, which is a micro-granting community dinner. I also think that in some ways, those experiences could have been heightened by more collaboration and more opportunities to go out and canvass and talk to more people in the community and bring it to a level where everyone knows, you know, what is happening with events or what's happening with whatever we're doing here on council, making sure that the community is brought right into that, and, you know, just letting them know that, you know, you've got folks like yourself who you volunteer with donations of food and, you know, those sort of things. I think that they could be uplifted on ways in which we can just keep doing good things in the community, and all of us can collectively work together. And I would love to make sure that those things, to Councilwoman Constantino's point about social media and bringing in technology and making sure that folks, you know, are hearing about it wide and it's promoted everywhere, and that all of our community feel that they can be a part of it.
Thank you. Right. I guess we-
Round 3.
Round 3?
John, can I have the papers?
Yes.
Oh, keep them separate.
We're gonna be here all night.
Yeah.
Maybe? Maybe. Thank you, John. Got all of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Yep. Okay, John?
Bless you.
Regina Williams, Ernestine Lyons. Tom Jenny, Jerry LaPratte. Valerie Kindle, Jerry LaPratte. Vivian Sawicki, Jerry LaPratt, Ivory Toussaint, Ernestine Lyons, Cheryl Costantino, Ernestine Lyons.
3-3 tie.
3-3. Thank you, Mom.
I guess we just need to continue voting until somebody changes their mind.
What will be the deciding vote?
Okay, question before we do our next vote. So we've asked our candidates another round of questions. Could we discuss or say things on why we feel according to our person before we do our next vote? We should. I see, that's great. I don't have my glasses on.
City attorney says we can.
Hmm? Okay. You're not gonna change anyone's opinion. All righty. If you feel that that will make a difference in anyone's opinion,
Speak up. Speak up.
speak up. I mean,
Well, first
you
I
wanna
wanna-
speak for your candidate, you go ahead.
Sure, you want to start from me or is that, just let me know?
Excuse me?
It's a concern for me.
No, I'll start with Cheryl Constantino.
Okay, let me take a drink of water, though.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to divert you so I could have a sleep.
Yeah, well, we started it,
Okay.
Regina, the last time, so let's go this way.
All three candidates have good experience. I feel like Ms. LaPrat's experience is more education-based. I think she'd be a really excellent school board candidate, more so than city council. I know she does come to our meetings, but her experience is more education-based. Ms. Mercer is really good with the things like the planning commission and things like that, and the current businesses that are going on, or the current changes going on in the city. She's up to date on that. But I believe Ms. Lyons has the thing that we lack the most. And she's got the innovation, the technology, entrepreneurship, being able to reach the markets. The millennial market, we just don't hit that group and the younger generations. I see what, like, my daughter would say, or what things, do we want people like the younger generation staying in Harper Woods, growing up and living here, and we're not really offering the younger generations what we need to get them to stay? And I mean, sure, we can keep offering this more of the same, more of what we're doing, but we really need to get in touch with this younger generation in order to keep our property values up and to sell more homes. I mean, these are the people, I mean, I call them kids, but they're full-grown adults, that they have, you know, they're working, they're out there, they're buying their first home. We want them to buy their first home here in Harper Woods. We want them we want to offer things that they want, like to be able to start their business in Harper Woods, or to be able to have the support to work from home, or, you know, like I don't want to say a community pod, but like we need to offer them the opportunities, and we have to be able to get the word out to them in a way that they understand it. We just don't do that right now well enough. And so I think that Ernestine, she's good with branding, the marketing, like I said, the technology. Podcasts are very big right now. I mean, I was listening to my podcast all day today whenever I was in the car. I listened to my podcast. She's familiar with Robert's Rules. She's been an excellent leader with Michigan Municipal League, involved with a lot of their programs. She was born and raised here, so she knows Harper Woods well, but she's well-traveled. She's been out of the city as well, so she knows what's going on worldwide and what the trends are and how we can fit into that and how we can market that. She's, obviously with her experience on the council, she's the most familiar with the city manager, city council relationship, and she was absolutely really essential with a lot of the programs that we put on through COVID, through the Crime Reduction and Law Enforcement Task Force and through NEDC, and her knowledge and ability and her contacts, all the people that she knew and the different things that she was connected with were really essential with the success of a lot of those programs. And like I said, all three candidates are good. They all bring something, but do we want to keep bringing back more of the same, or do we want to bring something back new and exciting that's going to reach out to a whole new market? And I really feel like it's time to reach out to these new home buyers and bring them into our community, and prospective business people, and bring them into our community. And I believe that she's got the right stuff to be able to do that.
Mr. Toussaint?
Well, this has really been, again, a very, very tough decision. I look at the two candidates, especially the candidates like Jerry and Lauren, and I think, boy, that'd be nice and fresh, new face in the city council and that type. And these people have been extremely involved with the community. Since I've been out there, I see you all the time. They've even helped me with my candidacy. So, but then I look over at Ernestine, Ms. Lyons, and comes from experience sector. She's probably got the most experience in city government and also in so many of our organizations that we have within in Harper Woods. So, and another thing that's really important to me too is not also much about that you're qualified, but also it's important to me to elect a person that I think is going to be compatible with our present board, with our present council right here, and that's going to, and I like to support the mayor as a whole and with the decisions she makes also. So that's been kind of really my little dilemma in this area. So that's my comments.
All right, you've heard my vote, so I'm kind of going back and forth between Jerry Ann, and Lauren. I think they'd both be excellent members of council. And to be quite frank, I want to have Lauren on the planning commission because you've done such a good job on that commission, and we need good planning commission members. And so that's part of the reason why I'm torn between these candidates. I have to say in Lauren's favor, she's young, she's committed, she's got a lot of experience, she's got a lot of training. She has been very involved in the community. She would be a nice balance to our council. It would be nice to have an LGBTQ member on our council. I think that's a very valuable thing to have. And I applaud you for being active in our community and stepping forward. You know, I think that's really noble and really, that's part of the reason why I think that you'd be excellent on council. But like I said, I also want you on planning. Jerry Ann, I know, has been very active in our community, incredibly active. She's done an excellent job with our Facebook groups. She's done an excellent job understanding council. She's been here. I think that the fact that she is knowledgeable about what takes place in Harper Woods, she's not afraid to get her hands dirty and get in there and get involved. She does her research. She's not just influenced by what other people say. She's willing to ask questions and to get active in the community. And so I think that speaks very highly of her. I think, while she has been involved on the school level, that does not eliminate her from her activities in the community as a whole, you know. So the fact that she was involved in the schools and continues to be interested in what goes on in the Grosse Pointe District because her kids were involved in that doesn't mean that, that her commitment would be in some way better on a Board of Education than it would be on our Harper Woods City Council. So I think that is something that needs to be said. Ms. Lyons, I served on council with her, and I have a little trouble at times because of some of the things that she's said and done in the past, and quite frankly, undercut. I know that, you know, some comments that she made about me in the election makes it very difficult for me to look beyond that. And the fact that that I felt a lot of animosity. And I don't think that's a good thing to have on council. And so that's why I am less inclined to support Ms. Lyons in her attempt to get back on council.
Micah? Yeah, I mean, I voted now for 3 times for Jerry. Again, we've got 3 very, very, very good candidates. We appreciate everyone coming out to be candidates. I think Jerry, a lot of times she has the ear of the community with her Facebook pages and being out there. She does have the time to put into council, not just look at the agenda on Friday afternoon and come to a meeting on Monday night. We can all call that in. But you need more than that. You know, you need to miss work to be on some meeting because John asked you for something, or the mayor needs you for something, and you need to drop something and be able to get there and do that. She's been to the meetings. I have not seen her not at a meeting for her partner in crime next to her. You know, they're here for everything. Volunteer-wise, yes, she volunteers for a lot. Unfortunately, the baseball did go defunct, but you have stepped up tenfold with everything else you've put your mind to. I think Ms. Lyons might be a little too busy for us with everything she's on and does. It's great, but I just think it needs more time devoted here for the council. That's what I have to say. Lauren, I've known you for a while now on Planning Commission and that, and I do think that's a great position for you. Me and you bounced stuff off each other when North Point was coming around, and it worked perfect for us. So I would love to see you up here too, but maybe, you know, run next time. You know, who knows? You do have potential in the community to do something much, much greater than you're doing. That being said, I mean, you know where my vote is at, and that's my 10 cents.
Thank you. I want to talk about all 3 candidates because I'm very impressed about the candidates that we have coming out tonight. I'm very impressed with your level of commitment to the community and the different things that you've already done. Lauren, I do want to ask, I'm going to ask the same, this isn't a question, this is just pronouns. What do you prefer? Because I'm a school teacher, so I ask all my students that.
I prefer my name.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Lauren. Ernestine? Pronouns?
She, her, hers.
Okay, and Jerry?
Same. She, her,
All right. Because I respect the community, and I respect my students, so I try to make sure I'm addressing them as they want to be addressed. Okay? But I am very impressed with our candidates and your level of dedication and everything that you do. I do like you, Lauren. I like your dedication and commitment to working with the Planning Commission and all the things that you've done. I love that. Jerry, I love the fact that you're very active in the community and you have a ear to many of the things that's happening in our community, and that you come out to all of our council meetings. Like you say, all of us don't make it all the time, but you do come out to all the council meetings, so you know what's going on. So you're very active and you keep pace with what's happening. Ms. Lyons is my choice. One, I like the fact that she's a millennial because I think that younger generation is very important. As we look at our council, we're not exactly the youngest group up here. And that youthfulness is very important. I wasn't sure of what.
Yeah, so
That's what I thought.
She's a
That's what I
millennial.
thought. So I've learned a lot from millennials lately in the last couple of years. You know, that my opinions, being a little bit older, isn't always up to what's happening in our society sometimes. Because millennials bring a different perspective. And I think that's very refreshing. But I like Ms. Lyons' experience. She was a council member before, and when she was on the council, she made good decisions. I think being on city council is about making good decisions and not letting your personal feelings get in the way of good decision-making. We all are opinionated. We all have our own personal feelings and issues. Some may like others, some may not like others, but none of that should be part of making a good decision for the city, because our decisions affects everyone in our city. And that, I think, should be the most important thing. It's not any type of personal issue, but can you pass those issues and try to make the best decisions for the city. And also like that Ms. Lyons is very well-rounded. She's not only been part of the city council, and I think she made very good decisions while she was on the council. None of us is perfect. You know, some of us make decisions that community don't like, but we do our best to make decisions in the, looking at what we can do to improve our city. But I like the fact that she's very well-rounded. She's not only in this council, but with the Michigan Municipal League and the economic development, I think, and have a lot of experience, a lot of leadership experience. And I think that is so important. So if we got her back, it would be to help the city, and some of the committees that she's been on could actually help out our city. And I think that's important. And that's it for me.
All right, then. Well, I will start with Lauren. I truly appreciate you being a part of the millennium to make sure that we did not just have one in here. And I think you're a bit, more in tune. I really, truly appreciate you because you've helped us with the economic development of moving things forward. And your volunteerism has been on point ever since you've been here, a part of our community. There's nothing that has lacked in your support for the city of Harper Woods, being it not being for your own personal gain. There's a difference in volunteering when it's for your personal gain as opposed to what you're doing for the best for the city of Harper Woods. And I thank you, Lauren, for that, because that's the way it comes off to me, have been involved with every committee that you're involved with. It's not what I can do, it's what we can do for the city of Harper Woods, and I truly appreciate that very much. Jerry, as I said before, I'm very proud of the things that you have done, especially when you go to the volunteerism of making seniors happy, to reach out a couple of years ago, and you all started this program to do things for the seniors. And it wasn't anything that you guys did that was trying to make yourself known. You just did this because you felt the need for it. And I appreciate that. And I know you began the same way I did when I started in 2002. I sat there in that very seat that Sheila's sitting in every city council meeting. until 2012, when I was appointed to city council. And that's why this all is so important to me, that we get the opportunity to help facilitate a new person on city council to carry out the desires that we need to do here in our community. We're not in the old Harper Woods vein. We're trying to move forward. And this is one of the reasons why I do not choose to go backwards. As much as I appreciate Mrs. Lyons' ability to communicate through the media and all those things, I just think it's right back down to common everyday sense, where you interact with the peoples and you say what you mean and mean what you say. It doesn't have to be, or should not be, a level of maturity for a millennium or older person. Be who you are and say what you say and do what you do. That's just the way we need to operate here in Harper Woods. And as much as I appreciate, because Miss Lyons has all sorts of podcasts, and, she teach you how to speak Russian and whatever, and that is fine and well. But right now, I need a city council person that's going to be able to continue to work in the vein that we've started here. And that's with bringing new businesses here in Harper Woods, bringing new development here in Harper Woods. We do not need to go backwards. We need to go forward. And when you ask the question about what have you done for the city that didn't negate you doing something for yourself, we really need to ask that question, because glorifying something that someone has done, I have been actively involved in MML and bringing MML into our community along with Councilwoman Paez. This was a baby that we started when we first came on board. And we also made sure that we had those connections. And I not only have the connections with the MML, but there are other communities and things that we have reached out to be able to put Harper Woods on the map. A lot of people would say to me back in the day, Harper who? You get past Eastland, no one knows that Harper Woods is a city that Eastland sat in. Maybe you think that's far-fetched, but it wasn't. And I have been surprised at many, many meetings that I have gone to that people say, exactly where is Harper Woods? And then I explain. And then the first thing I have to say to them is, you know where Eastland is? That's the city that Eastland sits in the city of Harper Woods. I say this all to say that people here, we sit on council, this is basically a volunteer job. We are not compensated nowhere near what Detroit people, please, no way. So therefore, your heart has to be in the right place in order for you to volunteer and give of yourself to bring things into our city. And we could only do that when you put us as a basis instead of me as a basis. It has got to be for the betterment of our entire community. And we have gone through this over and over and over again. It is, as Ken Pointer used to say, it is never I, it is always we. We can do better, we must do better in order for our city to survive. And at this point in time, I think Jerry, to me, is my candidate, what I think is the best candidate to help us move forward. Lauren, no slap to you, because you have been volunteering. And no slap to you, Ernestine. I just think your time passed when you gave it up before. So let's move forward with new people, with a new idea. And that's where I leave it at.
Madam Mayor,
Yes?
may I add something?
No, excuse me?
I would like to say something.
Okay, then that means that everybody has an opportunity to say something again.
That's fair?
Just vote.
No, I think we should vote.
Hmm?
I think we should vote.
Well, when I gave my talk, I was trying to be very positive, and I didn't realize that some of you were gonna be going negative.
Well, hold up
And
right, just,
I have a
hold up right
big
there.
concern about
Hold
somebody.
hold up right there. No one has been negative.
I
Everyone,
believe that you have been.
no, everyone has been positive about their comments. You had your opportunity and you did a dissertation on what you felt about Mrs. Lyons. So we will move forward, we will vote, and we will go ahead, whichever way it lays. All right, everyone. It's time for round 4.
Yep.
Oh, I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I'm sitting here on Capitol Hill. And it's a long, long city, well, long, long wait while I'm sitting in committee. A long, long wait while I'm sitting in committee. But I know I'll be a boss someday. At least I hope and I pray that I will. But today I am still just a bill. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for allowing me to sing that.
I remember that song.
Thank you for breaking the ice.
Cheryl Costantino, Ernestine Lyons. Tom Jenny, Jerry LaPratt. Regina Williams, Ernestine Lyons. Valerie Kendall, Jerry LaPratt. Vivian Sawicki, Jerry LaPratt. Ivory Toussaint, Ernestine Lyons.
We're voting again?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Just gonna have to keep voting until somebody changes. There's no rules. There are no rules.
That's no rule.
Or we could just, without reading them out
We could do that. Do you want to make it silent? Signing it?
Oh, she gets the counter first.
The question is, can we vote without revealing the council member's name?
Mhm.
We have to reveal the name. Okay, they wondered if it could be anonymous.
That's the Open Meetings Act.
Yeah, I kind of
Okay,
figured
open
you
I
needed
can't-
that. Is there some way that?
Kind of, sort of, yeah.
Make it a little less.
We could either do, raise your hands or write it on paper, which still has to be announced.
I tried.
I know, I know.
Actually, Rogers City up in Michigan, put the names in a hat and drew after.
Yeah.
100 votes.
Yeah, they agreed on that, the hat.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, we're still early in this process, I guess.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay. Regina Williams, Ernestine Lyons, Tom Jenny, Jerry LaPratt, Vivian Sawicki, Jerry LaPratt, Ivory Toussaint, Jerry LaPratt, Cheryl Costantino, Ernestine Lyons, Valerie Kindle, Jerry LaPratt.
Which gives us 4-2 for Jerry LaPratt.
Right. Praise God.
That was only 5 ballots, hey.
Mayor, I believe at this point, a resolution needs to be offered to appoint the candidate to fill the vacancy of city council until the next regularly scheduled city election.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
I'll offer the resolution to appoint Jerry Ann LaPratt to fill the vacancy on the city council until the next regularly scheduled city election.
Support.
Roll call vote, Mrs. Frank? I'm sorry,
Discussion.
it's discussion. Is there any discussion? I think we
Really quick,
have
Madam Mayor.
none.
Again, I just want to thank everybody who came out. Everybody. Thank you, guys. Everybody.
Is there any further discussion?
Yeah, it was a very tough decision here. One thing that made me just think about it the most was the fact that one of the things I wanted to do when I first came on city council was to kind of help unite the council even better. And I'm basically made my decision based on this uniting the council again. Even though I think Ms. Ernestine may be more qualified from some of our past experiences, I think it's important that we have some unity within our.
Any further discussion? Roll call vote, Mrs. Franks?
Okay, Councilwoman Costantino.
Yes.
Councilman Jenny.
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Sawicki.
Yes.
Councilman Toussaint.
Yes.
Councilwoman Williams.
Yes.
Mayor Kindle.
Yes.
Okay, resolution passes. Okay, and I can swear her in if you'd like.
Yes.
You swear to me.
Mhm. Let me just find my,
Praise you, Jesus.
all right. Ms. LaPratt, when you come all the way up here.
And I step over after.
Get this chair out of the way. Don't trip over everything, if you can help it. All right, and at this point, all I'm gonna do is ask you to raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Jerry Ann LaPratte,
I, Jerry Ann LaPratte,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of this state,
and the Constitution of this state,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
City Council Member
City Council Member
in and for the City of Harper Woods,
in and for the City of Harper Woods,
County of Wayne,
County of Wayne,
State of Michigan,
State of Michigan,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And at this point, we can give you a seat.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Do we have a seat for her?
There's, yep. Tom's gonna help you out. We'll get you there. Welcome aboard.
Okay.
I've been living on the edge for a long time, so.
All right. We'll call the audience. If you have anything to say, you step up to the podium. 3 minutes, please. Be into this.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, may I go first?
Yes?
I have a lot of information I'd like to cover with the council. Thank you very much. My name's Jacqueline. I live on Buffet at Dupree. I came to the council before because I brought in some topics about doing a microgreens facility at Poupard so we can continue to feed our community aside from any big government people telling us how to unite our community. One of the things I'd like to mention, thank you so much, council members, for educating me. I would never be able to be in politics. I'm too loud, I'm too opinionated, I'm too boisterous, and what else can I say? However, I will keep a note that I will be one of the people in the community that will go out and cut my neighbor's grass before they get a violation. I will be one who noticed my neighbor coming in from a knee surgery that is getting their Uber delivered, and I will cook for them until they're healed. I am that person. The reason, and all my neighbors know this, I'm the one that hands out the candy bars as the kids are coming home from school. My neighbors won't come with me, even though they know what's going on with this new world government, and I want to remind you that means O-W-N backwards. We need God in this country. You want people in your city? Bring God back to the school. Nothing against Miss Williams here. God made 2 sexes. Shame on you. If you can't speak freely, you are simply not free. Christian organizations don't want to be here where there's a marijuana leaf on every billboard. They don't want to raise their children in that type of psychedelic atmosphere. Lot of information I have. Psychedelic drugs have been under evaluation and experimentation forever. All of that can be publicly accessed from a frequency. They can mind control you from a frequency, which brings me to the major topic of discussion that a city council member brought on last week's meeting, October 13th meeting. It was about having a camera on rental properties. I have 3 rental properties in this city. Did I reread the minutes wrong? Because it's my property. Too much governmental overreach what I have on my property. You can't force me to put a camera up because I have a rental property. Double checking. And I understand that Judge Kenny also, correct me if I'm wrong, there's still an evaluation out about our fraudulent vote. My vote was taken twice. I've seen it, I verified it, I've written it. Tired of the games. Now, the third thing I'd like to mention, I'm sure my time is short.
Yep.
Yes, please let me finish this. The Zoom meetings that you got coming up because of your COVID-19 plandemic, I'm tired of it. Your symptoms from COVID-19, it's already verified. You can go to vaxjustice.org. It'll show you all of your documentations that's going through the courts right now that are getting swept underneath the rug. Factsjustice.org. Now, can I please speak on the smart cities? Your smart cities, IA is going to tell me my carbon footprint, I can't buy meat, I can't go to the grocery store, you can't get more than 3 purchases on your digital ID credit card. All of these things are happening. You can go to AMAN, A-M-A-N, Jabby, J-A-B-B-I. All of your public docs are there. I've done my research.
Thank
If
you.
you can't speak freely, you're simply not free. I thank the council for their protecting in my city. I'm telling you what is going on with the world. Stop succumbing to this, because your job and 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 your job is all going to be gone if AI controls the lock box on my house, my smart meter, and my refrigerator. I want you to know I've been speaking out of this for years. They've already turned my electric vehicle off 3 times, and I had to buy a turkey 3 times this year because they defrosted my freezer. Your smartphone is a dumb idea.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Oh, State Representative Pies, well, welcome to the podium.
Thank you so much. I'll keep to my 2 minutes.
Now, you know you need to speak up.
I'd like to congratulate our new council person and to say that I have been missing getting the minutes and or the agendas in my mailbox and little texts about what's going on, and I'm glad we've got another person to fulfill this. I want to thank everybody also who attended my swearing in here a couple of weeks ago by our Lieutenant Governor. It was a real heartfelt moment for me that he agreed to do it in our city's courtroom, and I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful to the voters of this city and everybody who's supported me all the years. And I want you also to know that that I expect everyone here to call me and to talk to me privately about what it is that's on your mind, or legislation you'd like to see passed or be proposed or voted on. I expect to remain active with the council in terms of communication, and I'll be attending council meetings on occasion also. But you all have my cell phone number, so you're welcome to call me. So thank you, and thank everyone here.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak?
I just have to congratulate Jerry. I'm going to miss sitting next to her. I know this was a really hard decision for all of you. You took away my buddy in the audience, but you guys, I know it was a really hard decision. Everyone that ran was qualified, and thanks for sticking it out and discussing it among yourselves. It was really impressive. Good luck, Jerry.
All right, thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to speak before we turn it to audience? I'm sorry, to the council.
I just wanted to thank everybody for the opportunity tonight. It was definitely something different. Applying for the Planning Commission was not this intense, but I would definitely love to continue being on our boards or commissions until something else comes up in the future. And you haven't lost me as a committed citizen in Harper Woods. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll call the audience. Oh, Councilwoman.
I just want to say thank you all for interviewing me, and I really appreciate the feedback, especially the constructive criticism. I have a lot of things to work on. I really appreciate the service to the city, and I guess it took a lot of courage for me to try to go at it again, and I am truly humbled, and I come before you as a humble person to, seek this once again. So thank you all so much for your time and for your honest candor. Thank you. And thank you to the people of
We
Harper
thank you
Woods.
for putting, stepping back up into this. We appreciate it. Okay. Call the council. We'll start there with our new council person.
Well, I just want to say thank you, and I guess I can hear all of Lauren's sequestered, and what I really hope is that both Lauren and Ernestine, that I see you sitting at these meetings and, giving your valuable input. And I thank council for your vote. It took a little bit, but thank you.
Okay, at least it took less than 15 rounds. You know.
Better than Speaker of the House.
Exactly. Okay, so, just a couple of things. One of the comments from our audience, I'm not 100% sure what our audience member was upset about. I do support all our people in our community because we all have a voice. So I was a little uncertain on that part. And like you say, if we can't speak freely, we should be able to speak freely. And again, I support everyone because everyone has an opinion. Everyone has everyone can make good decisions. So again, I'm just was a little uncertain about that. I'm very scientific. I have degrees in both math and science.
What's an X-flare?
I'm sorry?
What's an X-flare if you're associated with science?
Wait, just, thank you. Thank you.
So again, I have degrees in both math and science, and I'm very scientific. So I do not believe everything I see on the internet or everything I read on the internet. I prefer to look up information for myself. So, conspiracy theories are, I believe just that, conspiracy theories. Again, I think everyone who came out, all three of our candidates, I think your backgrounds were superb. I was really impressed with everybody. I think we had a very good group to choose from, which is why the decision was so difficult. Again, Ernestine, it took a lot of courage to come back and attempt to come back on the council. And I do appreciate everybody who came out. As a community, your opinions are very important, but please be respectful of each other and be respectful of diversity. We have different age groups, different nationalities, we have lots of things are different, but respect is extremely important. We need to respect each other, because with respect and courtesy, we can get a lot of things done. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. Williams.
I would just first of all like to welcome Jerry on board. I'm really surprised you signed up for this, but that's another story. Thank everyone for coming out. Truly, three great candidates. And the residents, thank you guys for coming out. We've had more people here today than a council meeting, so everyone's getting involved in this, and it's good to see. As the mayor said, we do this from our hearts, and I know Jerry's on board for that too, and we all are here. So again, thank you guys all, everybody who came out and everyone who ran. That's it for me.
Thanks. Councilwoman Sawicki.
Thank you. I do want to congratulate Councilmember LaPlatte, and I think that's, congratulations for stepping up. And thank you also to Lauren and to Regina. Ernestine, I'm sorry, for volunteering, putting your name in, and for consideration. I think that is important. And I hope that you both decide to remain active in the community and attend council meetings and set us straight where we need to be. Also, I want to mention that this week we have an ordinance committee meeting coming up. And these committee meetings are open to the public. It'll be on Thursday at 6 here in City Hall. And so that's just I know that there are openings in a number of our boards and commissions. Check the city website, because we do need volunteers in the community to step up and be members of these commissions. So That's it for me.
Well, very, very tough decision tonight. But again, I was trying to think about compatibility on the board, on the council right here. Ernestine, I'm still a strong supporter of you, and I'll always be in your corner. But again, congratulations, Jerry. And Lauren, you're just a gem to the whole community.
Yep, I'd like to congratulate Jerry, welcome her to the council, and hope that we can work together. And also share my awe and respect for Lauren and Ernestine and all that you guys have done in the community, and hope that you continue to bless this community with your fabulousness. And I'm just really thrilled to have you guys there. Nice to have a visit from State Representative Pies. I taught her everything I knew about campaigning. I take 100% credit for nothing to do with how hard she worked or anything. All me. No, I'm just kidding. So, Miss Jacqueline, while I agree with you on a couple of things, the drugs and the vaccines and things, I feel as a...
Wait, hold up.
Yeah. I believe God made everyone to be unique, and that we accept them and love them for who they are.
Fair.
As they are. So,
Can I say something?
well...
No,
maybe
you
after
guys
the
can
meeting, but
have conversation
that's-
after the meeting, please.
That's how I think, and this is my chance to express that.
Country, that's what I'm here for.
Exactly, freedom to speak. But, yeah, this was an interesting experience, and I'm hoping that we all get to move on and hopefully do a lot of good things as a council together in the future. And we all
Thank you.
work together.
All right. So, I want to say, really thankful to Representative Pies to bring the bacon home to Harper Woods. And we both were up at the swearing in for the governor on Sunday. It was a very interesting event. This was the first time I had been invited to be on the dais with the governor, and I think I have conversation there. That we, along with Representative Pies, we'll be able to bring some monies to our community that we so desperately need. It is always about relationships when you're dealing in politics. And so hopefully we will forge along with some great relationships so that we can get some things that we need in our community to help lower the taxes for our residents. I mean, there are certain things that we need desperately to be able to lower the tax burden on the residents here in Harper Woods. Plus, we need a recreational center. I'm sorry. I will not let go of that dream of mine. And I just think that I appreciated Ernestine, you stepping back up to the plate. I truly appreciated that but there are other things that I hope that you will consider to continue to be an active part of our community so that we can, as Cheryl Constantino says, bring the millennium along with you and learn. We can maybe get young people more interested. But I think we made the best choice tonight, and I'm thankful for you all's input. But let's move forward and keep our city going on the right track. We're on a track. We are first time being inches away from the red, but we are inches away from the red. But we all have to work together to make us stay in that vein. So I thank everyone, I thank you all for your participation, and let's have a happy new year. All right? Mr. Jennings?
Madam Mayor, Jerry, this is where I shine, so this is where I'd like to make the motion for adjournment.
Support.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries. We are